Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. We continue with the explanation of Surah Duha. Verse 5. And verily your Lord will give you so that you shall be pleased. This means that don't forget that every dark night becomes a day. At the end of every dark tunnel there is light. Very soon Allah will give you a big reward for your sabr. And that reward is Jannah, inshallah. And this is the most beautiful thing that can be said to a depressed person. Forget about the tragedies of your life and think what is awaiting you, that is Jannah. And for example, what do we do to a child who hits himself or bangs into something accidentally? We show him a toy or some other distraction. And then, although the pain is there, he forgets the pain. Though Jannah is not a toy, this is just an example, but its thought does have a healing effect. Verse 6. Did he not find you an orphan and gave you refuge? Think of all the bleak moments of your life when you were in a terrible fix or trouble, and then eventually Allah saved you. Verse 7. And he found you unaware and guided you. Think of all the things that we did, the way we behaved towards Allah and His word, when we didn't care a hoot about religion, and how we were steeped in layers of ignorance, confused, lost, broken, and how He joined our broken pieces and led us gradually and tenderly towards His own self. And here I would like to talk about Amina Salmi. She was a revert and she was married to a very rich man living a life of luxury, and she had 2 beautiful children. And some factors of her life led her to accept Islam. She was a Christian before. Her husband left her. She lost the case of gaining the custody of her children. She lived in a remote, shabby living, and then she got cancer. And when she was once interviewed and asked about this disastrous change in her life, everything changed. She said these words. She said, I was a jeweled goblet, but the goblet was empty. And now I am an old cracked cup, but the cup is brimming over with love of Allah. Verse 8. And he found you poor and made you rich. Think of all the financial crises that we went through in life, but Allah did not let us break down altogether. You see, depression is something that has 2 aspects, or it has 2 reasons. One is the pain of some past experience, and number 2, fear of the future, fear of the unseen. A moment is supposed to live in the present, making out the most of this very moment. He asks forgiveness for his past and makes amendments, and he does not fear of the future because he knows that the future lies in the hands of Allah. Verse 9. Therefore treat not the orphan with oppression. 10. And repulse not the beggar. Now the depressed person is so overwhelmed with his own misery, Allah makes him think of all those who are in a situation far worse than them. Allah says, you had a father to protect you all along your childhood. Look at the problems of a child who has no father to support and protect. Look at the beggar who does not know from where his next meal will come from, or will it come or not. He has to beg someone for it. Has any one of us slept hungry even for a day? Did we have this worry at the back of our minds ever, that from where will my next meal come from? Or have we ever gone through the humiliation of begging someone for food? Verse 11. And proclaim the grace of your Lord. Talk about the blessings of Allah that you have. Like, for example, your heart, your eyes, your ears, all the body parts, and all the body functions working so perfectly. The sustenance, the relations that you have. And if Allah didn't love us, why did He give us all this? Stop focusing on the losses, focus on the gains. And if you get busy thanking Allah for what He has given you, your pain of what you do not have will stop hurting you anymore. Or definitely it is going to hurt you less. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.